In its early days, the safari was always run over the long Easter weekend, pitting the drivers against the heavy rains that invariably coincided with that time of the year. Lately, the event was forced away from Easter due to tight rally calendars and schedules. But in 2010, the safari once again returned to its traditional date, and competitors entering the 58th KCB Safari Rally were about to experience why the safari is known to be the toughest rally of them all. And true to form, the clouds gathered ready to give the event their full blessing. Adding to the challenge, the organizers found new routes in areas of the country not recently visited, not only rekindling memories of the safari's roots, but also reviving the elements of endurance, stamina, and perseverance.
It is technical. It is a challenge in that it is a bit fast if it dries up a bit, and it could also be very slippery if it pours again. But all the sections, I believe, are quite interesting and challenging.
As the excitement grew in the weeks leading up to the event, competitors thoroughly tested their mounts, secured new sponsorship deals, and proudly announced their hopes and dreams, whilst unveiling new cars in dazzling displays of confidence. The title sponsor, KCB, were also excited at being involved, and at a colourful ceremony, launched the 2010 KCB East African Rally Challenge. The safari would be the first of the 3 events in the series, which would include premier events in Uganda and Rwanda.
The theme of the 2010 East African Rally Challenge is bringing the region together with the slogan, "Rallying without borders." At KCB, we understand the need for organizations and the people in this region to share and promote the common goal of unified, integrated East Africa, and are happy to show leadership in this regard.
The 2009 Motorsportsman of the Year, Ben Mushemi, was on hand to give the KCB Deputy CEO some first-hand experience.
Excellent, a bit scary, but especially over the bridge.
The safari is Kenya's premier motorsports event, drawing a full house of 66 cars, and as they gathered at the landmark Kenyatta International Conference Center, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation. The safari was also the second round of the 2010 FIA African Rally Championship, attracting entries from Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi, including the 2009 champion Jamie Whyte, who was already well on his way to defending the title, having won round 1 in Tanzania.
The whole thing was I wasn't even going to do ARC this year, and then ended up going to Tanzania and we won it, so I'm carrying on again. So it looks like it's another full year again.
His biggest rival was Giancarlo Davite from Rwanda, who was lying second.
I will try to push Jamie. Best place is second, we say always, because you can push the first one, you can put the pressure. I will try to put my pressure on him, and then we'll see how he will react.
Whilst the foreigners added flavour to the event, they were not considered to be a threat to the strong Kenyan entry, especially for the leaders vying for the KCB Kenya National Rally Championship. Having won round 1, the reigning champion Carl Tundo was once again in the lead, but his main goal was to repeat his safari win of last year.
A lot of people say that they're the fastest drivers and the quickest drivers, but at the end of the day, if you've got that victory under your belt with the Safari Rally, it means a lot more, to me personally anyway.
Having not finished round 1, Lee Rose desperately needed the points and was confident that he would outpace the others.
You know, the idea is to have a good cushion at the end of the first day and not go too hard to pick up a puncture or something, and yeah, just cruise on the second day. But yeah, I'm ultimately going out there to go quickest and open up a lead.
The safari also included a supplementary category for non-homologated cars, spearheaded by Ian Duncan in the National Oil pickup. Endorsing the heritage of the event, there was a category for classics driven by old safari veterans. Equally as old were the two-wheel drives which would run at the back of the field. This was the 8th consecutive year KCB were the title sponsors of the safari, and it is through the bank's unwavering support that rallying in Kenya enjoys such a high profile.
As an organization, We want to be part of the success of this country and our people. I would continue to work with the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports to achieve this goal.
The safari receives the full support of the Kenya government, and endorsing its status as a national event, the President of Kenya, His Excellency Honorable Mwai Kibaki, presided over the ceremonial start.
I wish all drivers and the organizers a safe and successful 2010 KCB Safari Rally. Thank you.
Baldev Chager with Raju Semi were first up the ramp driving a Subaru N12. At the drop of the flag, the 2010 KCB Safari Rally was underway and they headed for the first stage of what would be a long 3-day event. The only section to be tackled on day one was a 2.5-kilometer stage, 10 kilometers from the start at the Jamhuri Park showground. In anticipation, thousands turned out to watch, although when the drivers saw the conditions, it was more to find a possible way through than choosing the best lines. With the leading cars scheduled to run last, it was the Burundi crew of Alain Dethys and Masafiri Fabrice who were the first to face the mud. They got through, declaring the stage passable, and the remainder of the field set off at 2-minute intervals. 12 cars attempted the stage before the heavens opened, turning the track into a swamp and drenching the fans. It was only a question of time before the stage became impassable, and when Christakis Vitidis and Guy Deklever got irretrievably bogged down, the organizers declared the section abandoned, giving the remainder of the cruise a time based on the average of those who had made it. This gave the rally lead to Jas Mangat and Olivia Megank, who recorded the fastest time, 1 second ahead of Assad and Salim Khan. The top three were all in Subaru N10s, with Imran Mughal and Atul Kochar in third. With the day over, it was now just a case of getting out of park for May. But unbeknown to the crews, the conditions were only a sample of what lay ahead. The cars were regrouped overnight back at the KICC, ready to face what would be the real meat of the rally on day two. With the stages out of Nairobi, it was an early start, and once again Baldev Chager and Raju Semi led the field away. Day two of the safari covered 428 kilometers, of which 146 were competitive. 11 stages were tackled, of which 5 were repeated twice, with the longest being 19 kilometers, and it was this stage that would be the most dramatic. Stages 4 and 10 were a 2-kilometer spectator stage, which would turn the fortunes of many. On the transport to the first control, the cars headed north towards Mount Kenya, passing the spectator stage on the way. At the stage commander was already concerned as to whether it would be passable.
It's very difficult for the Land Cruiser Umayona, and I think there's a possibility that the rally cars are going to get stuck.
The problem was a huge mud hole, which even the toughest of four-wheel drives were getting bogged down in.
It's kind of impossible because big cars, especially this car's sinking down. The rocks are hitting the sump, so we feel that the rally cars are going to have a bit of a problem. But I've communicated it to the CFC and all the officials, and waiting for a decision from there.
With the stage cleared and rescue heavyweights put on standby, the stage was declared open. Up ahead, Baldev Chager and Raju Semi were already in the first stage of the rally. With the route being run on open roads, being first was not an advantage, and by the end of stage 3, they were lying 6th, nearly a minute behind. They then faced the spectator stage with the inevitable consequences. Although they were stuck for 8 minutes, they were given an average and were back in the race. They even climbed the place to 5th on the stages ahead.
In a way, I'm actually enjoying the mud. It's been such a long time since we've had the mud. But some things are just ridiculous, like the spectator stage. I mean, we've been through everything else. You've got to be careful, you have to use a bit of technique, and yeah, fine. And you get through.